Our Patreon community has challenged me to find the best bottle of craft whiskey that I can find between 50 and 100 bucks. We're here in Nashville, Tennessee. When you're dealing with craft whiskey, it's not going to be at your local mom and pop shops, which is most of what we have here. Or if they do have it, they're going to be a very limited selection. So we're going to have to go to our local big box store, which is Total Wine, and we're going to have to see what they have, see what we can come away with to bring home and taste. So before we get in there, what is craft whiskey? We're talking about non-legacy producers, none of the big names you've ever heard of before, which means this might be a little bit of a unique video in that we're going to be hunting for stuff here that's available in Nashville, may not be available in your market, but we'll comment on that as we go. Let's get in there and see what they got.
We're here hunting for bourbon, but the first thing we got to do is check the case, just in case. Always checking the glass case to see if there's anything worth grabbing. We're looking for craft, and Jacob's Pardon is something I'm not familiar with, but upon closer look, it's Indiana, MGP, not craft, and almost $200. We got this Guero. We see this here in Nashville, but I'm not sure if you see it elsewhere. This is a ripoff. This is just MGP. Some of it's Dickel. Sweetens Cove 22, which does not say 22 years. This is also a ripoff. $1,200 Ardbeg, if anybody wants the 25-year here in Nashville, Tennessee. And in the glass case is the Balvenie 21-year Portwood, which is a personal favorite. Love that stuff. Very, very good. A Tale of Tokyo is on the shelf. Haven't heard of that one yet, but maybe it's pretty good. Never heard of this Invergordon for Scotch. If you have, let me know if it's any good down below. Highland Park and Brooklotti, always great, as well as Port Charlotte. Can't go wrong with any of these if you like Scotch. And our personal favorite, Ardbeg Oudale, along with a bunch of other Ardbeg offerings, and the classic Lagavulin 16-year. Hibiki Harmony is $115 here in Nashville, but I've heard it's as low as $90 in other places. So just goes to show you how much prices can vary by market. And case in point is Yellow Spot at $155 when I think it's about $110 in most markets. Back to the craft hunt, we've got a Still Austin barrel pick out at the end cap. Might be the winner for this challenge. It's going to be hard to beat at 80 bucks for craft whiskey. But very next barrel pickup is New Riff, and this looks very promising at $57. But I see notes that start with floral, and I'm out. Not a big fan of floral whiskey. Before I get over to the bourbon aisle, take a quick swing through the rise, and what is this but an Old Forester single barrel strength just sitting on the shelf. Right place, right time for 85 bucks. Can't let that go to waste. One of Aaron's favorites for low proof rye, Michter's, and shout out to Lance at Whiskey Tornado. Couldn't pay me to buy that Bacta 1928. If you like it, let us know down in the comments below, but we've tried it and didn't even finish the glass. Not for us. Another of Aaron's favorites, Sagamore Double Oaked, as well as quite a few other nice ryes from Sagamore here on the shelf, including the sherry finish. And if you're ever in Nashville, Tennessee, whether you buy a bottle of Southern Collective Spirits Company in a store or not, you owe it to yourself to go by their location, do the walking barrel tour. It's amazing. Ask for Tyler. He's one of our guys. Awesome dude. They take care of you over there. But let's get to the task at hand. We've got our Still Austin shelf as we come around the way. We've got the lower proof, cask strength, and the single barrel pick that we saw over on the end cap. You are paying a $30 premium for the barrel pick over the regular cask strength. Only you can decide if that's worth it for you or not. If we have to go towards the budget end on this, maybe we go towards the regular Still Austin cask strength. Save ourselves 30 bucks. Heard a lot of good things about Saints Alley, and we got some finishing here that could go a long way towards making a great craft whiskey, but upon closer inspection, this is distilled in Texas and Indiana, so that will not qualify. Some of it is MGP. Pritchard's is local to Tennessee in Kelso, and they are craft, but $130 is too much for our challenge. We've got Old Emmer Finest Wheat, Cask Strength, and Toasted Barrel, all of which fit within our price points. And this is a brand that we hadn't heard of until recently when Aiden down in the comments mentioned it in the Daniel Weller video, because this also uses Emmer wheat. We are big Middle West Spirits fans, and this sherry finish at $81 could be a contender, but we're not quite to that 100 proof point, and we really like to get up over that, so this is ultimately going to be a pass. Lil Guerrero is here as well, 7 years aged for $105, probably MGP or Dickel, and as we can see right there, distilled in Indiana. This is why you got to check those labels. 7 years, 100 proof, MGP for $105. Not gonna happen. Now these are potentially craft. Jimmy Red Sweet Mash, $105. A little bit nerve-wracking to spend that much on a weird grain like red corn. And then these gimmicky Kentucky hand-barreled bourbon bottles are quite suspect. And as we can see, we're looking at paying over $100 for 2-year-old bourbon out of Bardstown. Just because it's in this kind of bottle doesn't mean it's worth the price. Again, this is why you got to check those labels. Got some Garrison Brothers on the shelf, which would definitely qualify, including the honey finish, but $100 for 80 proof doesn't feel like a wise buy to us. And we're not jumping at spending $98 on 94 proof either, especially for Texas whiskey, which can get kind of funky if you haven't had it before. By chance, we see 2 products here in Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond and Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, both of which are typically allocated in Nashville, Tennessee, but here they are on the shelf, Elijah Craig Toasted with a limit 1. Neither favorites of ours, but both solid buys for the money. Ben Holiday is definitely in the running for the best craft we can buy between $50 and $100, and that Rickhouse proof is calling my name. But is it the right choice for today? Davidson Reserve is local to Nashville, and they make their whiskey here, as well as have tours and personal blending that you can do on site. But unless it's a barrel pick, we tend to steer clear of them. Their whiskey can get pretty crafty and pretty funky pretty quickly. Law's Whiskey House is a brand we're not very familiar with, and this does look like craft, but it's tough to say that this is going to be the choice at that price for that proof with a complete unknown. I have to check in with Phil and Julie over at the Bourbon Van on Oregon Spirit. This looks like craft as well, aged 4 years, and could be a pretty good buy for something different. Fortuna and Frank August are both great looking bottles, but they are not craft. You're paying a pretty penny for some source whiskey, but they are pretty good for what you're getting. After going through the whole aisle, I came back to the Old Emmers. They were very interesting to me because of the fact that not many companies use the Emmer wheat grain other than Buffalo Trace that we know of. The price looks right, especially since we're buying that Old Forester single barrel strength. This might be the pick. Am I making a mistake getting this over the Ben Holiday Rickhouse proof and the Still Austin barrel pick? Let me know in the comments below. Interestingly enough, the cask strength is only $5 more than the lower proofed 92 proof offering. Made it a no-brainer to grab the cask strength. After getting that in hand, I noticed that Peerless Double Oaked was on the shelf for $86, and Peerless is very good craft whiskey, but ultimately the budget was already being pushed to the limit, so we decided to stick with the Old Emmer. We did have to grab a bottle of Traveler on the way out the door because we heard those Bourbon Junkie guys like it a lot. We'll see if it's any good in a short coming up on the channel soon. And couldn't help but notice Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye sitting on the shelf for $76. Hard to beat that. I've said it many times, the best barrel proof rye whiskey on the planet. Almost thought about putting the Old Forester back to get this instead, but the Old Forester is a lot harder to find, so ultimately went with that.
And just like that, our shopping trip is in the books. We picked up something we didn't need, the Old Forester Rye, for 85 bucks. Opportunistic buying, busting the budget. That changed some things today. We got Traveler for 38, which didn't want to buy that, but we're going to use it for some short form content. And I heard those Bourbon Junkie guys like it pretty well. And got what we were after, the Old Emmer. Don't know a lot about this stuff. Maybe we'll look some up when we're back in the studio, but we're going to taste this. It's on the bottom end of the budget we were going to spend today. We had to shift because I spent so much on the Old Forester Rye, so we're at the bottom end of the budget here. We're gonna get back to the studio and taste this against something that I almost bought, the Still Austin cask strength or the single barrel pick. We've got a pick at home. We're gonna try it against this and see if I made the right decision to get this or if I should have bought a Still Austin instead.
And we're back. Let's go ahead and get into this. This Old Emmer is pretty interesting. So it is a Spirits Direct brand, which means it's something that Total Wine puts on. However, looking online, I did find information that other places that are not Total Wine selling this.
Oh, okay.
But let's get into the nose. Let's get Erin's opinion on this.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
I took a flyer. We'll see how it goes.
What does that mean? You took a flyer?
Like I didn't, it's an unknown.
Oh.
You know, which truthfully speaking, a lot of times before I got into being a bourbon nerd years ago, I would go into the store, see all the whiskey on the shelf, be completely overwhelmed, and would tend to take a flyer on something in a good looking bottle or with a good label. Let's see how this goes. We know it's high proof.
I haven't even smelled it yet, and I'm scared too because me and craft, we have a really strained relationship.
Get it on the nose. Let's see.
Okay.
This is Kentucky bourbon, so it might be craft, but it is from Kentucky.
It smells kind of like stinky feet, which is like coming home. It's like home base to me. I kind of like that. A little funky, little stinky feet funk.
To me, this is just like honey drizzled fruit.
With over some stinky feet.
Yeah. Your stinky feet, not my stinky feet.
Over my slippers.
Her stinky feet are nice and pleasant,
My slippers.
I guess. Not like mine.
Yeah, they smell like my slippers.
Yeah, this is interesting. We know on the label it says that it's 4 years old, and that's about all we know. We know it's Kentucky.
Okay.
We know that it's using emmer wheat, which is not a grain we've ever tasted before outside of the Daniel Weller product.
So it's a different kind of wheat
Yeah.
than normal?
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were different. That makes sense that there's different varieties of wheat.
Yeah.
Why would I not know that?
People use soft red winter wheat. They use all kinds of
Yeah,
different
I
wheat.
understand that, but like I didn't put it together. But that's cool. All right, are we gonna taste it?
Yeah, just going back to the nose real quick, I really got in there, and I got a little bit of wheat grain. Like, it almost smells like wheat bread. Like, you open the package and just stuffed your nose in there and smelled it.
Interesting.
Really interesting. All right, let's get this on the palate.
Okay. Y'all, the bar was set so low. I'm very impressed.
Watch it not be craft. Watch me have failed the mission.
Craft whiskey scares me. Yeah, it doesn't taste like craft. I'm not getting
Yeah.
a crafty note at all.
I mean,
Did you fail the mission?
maybe a little bit as an undercurrent to everything that's there on the
If
palate.
you failed, everyone's gonna be like, Josh, it's not craft.
Well, that just goes to show you how things can trick you. I mean, they saw in the video, and you saw in the video, how
Yeah.
you're looking at labels, you're looking at stuff. This doesn't say it's from any major distillery. So,
This?
yeah, I mean, all you can do is make the best educated buying decision you
I mean,
possibly
it says
can.
it's from Kentucky. That's sus.
And it does not say the distillery, but it is a Spirits Direct brand again. So something that Total Wine set up. Who knows? I know it tastes pretty good off the first sip, but you can't trust that first sip. Let's get another one.
So it tastes pretty good. And I have to say, it's because I just tried this. We just filmed a head-to-head video. This tastes very similar to Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, I can kind of see you there. It's got this. I think a lot of people talk about Wild Turkey having a slight nuttiness to it, and I think that exists in here as well. But it's kind of coming through a little bit more like earthy, grainy to me.
Okay.
But overall, that's pretty good. I mean, honestly, 116 proof for $50 and weeded. I'm not going to say this is going to go out and take down like a Weller Full Proof or even be as good as like a good Maker's Mark pick. But I could see it being a good alternative to those two products.
Yeah, especially putting the pieces together that it's a weeded bourbon. And
Yeah,
weeded,
you don't typically like weeded.
I am coming around to weeded bourbons a lot more in the last probably 6 months than I have been like years ago.
$50 for this old Emmer cask strength,
Yeah.
or $500 for Daniel Weller.
Oh, shoot. Well, I don't even know what Daniel Weller tastes like.
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
You liked it, but you're a hard no at $500.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't think I would spend $500 on whiskey. I have a hard time spending that much on things I like actually really want.
I would just get this, or even if you like lower proof, get the lower proof. But let's try
Okay.
this and see if I made a good buy. And you get to be the judge here.
Okay.
We're going to taste it next to Still Austin. And
Okay.
now I'm realizing I probably should have just compared it to something like Maker's Mark, cask strength, because this is a weeder.
Oh, probably.
This is a rye-based bourbon. But when you're tasting blind, which we're not
Well,
here.
this is craft, so there's two crafts in theory, and this is a pick.
Yes, this is similar in proof, 116 proof, which all Still Austin picks are.
Okay.
It was a little bit more money than this. I did not buy this. This is not the Total Wine pick from the store. This is a pick I already had. So we're just going to compare it and see craft whiskey wise what we're working with. This is 2 years compared to 4 years. Similar proof points.
Okay.
Kentucky versus Texas. Weeder versus rye. We're just seeing how far the money can go and what you should spend it on.
I have something to say that people are probably not going to like.
Okay. Say what you got to say. Speak your mind. Get it off your chest.
So, you know the smell when people get just like a little funky to them. They don't smell like BO. It's not body odor, but there's like a little funk to them. Like maybe you haven't showered in a couple days and you need a shower, but like you don't smell like BO. You just smell like a little human funk. That's what this tastes like or smells like.
Really?
I haven't tasted it yet.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not getting that at all.
Yeah. And I think when you know what I'm talking about, you know. Like, please let me know if I'm just imagining this. Like, it's not a body odor smell. It's not the smell of underarms. It's just like
Some musk.
it's like a clean,
Little
but like a
musk.
little dirty. Like you need to shower, but you don't smell bad kind of funk.
To me, this smells like an evergreen tree, and it
Interesting.
smells like you're eating. Like there's the smell of caramel in the air. next to an evergreen tree, and there's a little bit of barrel influence on it as well.
Evergreen.
It smells awesome. To me, it probably smells more interesting than the old Emmer, but let's see how it tastes. I'm not saying better, I'm just saying more interesting, because those are some kind of crazy notes.
I don't know.
Let's get it on the palate.
This tastes fruitier than I thought.
Whoa.
Like fruit roll-up. Like a fruit roll-up fruitiness.
I can see that. I'm still getting my caramel. That evergreen note just doesn't exist unless it's very faint on the back end of the palate. Wow, that's really interesting.
This is not fruit roll-up. This is fruit by the foot. And there's a difference.
What about fruit leather?
No, fruit by the foot.
It feels more earthy than sugary.
It feels kind of sugary, but like not too sugary.
Yeah, that I'm envisioning an evergreen tree with like white, is it called flocking? Is it like the dusting or whatever? I don't think that has a smell, but if it did have a smell, you know what it would smell like.
If you envisioned it having a smell, yeah, kind of like a craft store smell.
Yeah, it smells kind of like a Michael's or whatever craft store.
Michael's, yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Now, taste-wise, how do you feel about it?
I like it. I don't know if I like one over the other. They're different. I feel, is this one higher proof? This one feels a little higher proof.
Both 116.
Okay. So this one feels a little more tingly on my palate afterwards, like the finish.
Probably the rye spice in the mash bill.
I would guess, if I didn't know any better, I would guess that this is higher proof and this is lower proof. So take that with a grain of salt if you like that feeling. Like maybe, I don't know. I like them both.
Okay. So do I get a passing grade on buying this for the best
for $49.99
$50
plus
to
tax?
$100 craft bottle of whiskey I can find? Did I do good?
Yeah, I think you did.
Let me know in the comments below if
assuming it is actually craft.
Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you think I did good on this. And is it fair to say you're getting a little bit of a 2 for the price for 1 today? This is a good buy as well. It's worth checking out.
Yes, but you are playing like the roulette. What do you call it? Single barrel roulette when you get a store pick. So, or a barrel pick of any kind. You don't know the palate. If you don't know the palate of the people selecting the barrel, you could be hit or miss. However, if you know the palate and you like the palate, then that's fine.
Yeah. And that's why we always say we love single barrels. It's my favorite thing on the market, period.
Yeah.
They're great, but you can get some duds. That's why it's super important, as Aaron said, to make sure you know the palate picking it and they can vouch for it, or you're in a store where maybe you can taste it before you purchase it, which is a thing we can do here in Tennessee, but I didn't try to do that with the Still Awesome. I really wanted to give the most broad experience possible.
Yeah.
So this was a win across the board. I think I did well, considering I'd already busted the budget with the Old Forester Rye.
Yeah.
I did good getting the $50 pick. Comparing it to this was a lot of fun. Yes.
I have something to say. After tasting these a little bit more, I wanted to say at the end, this one does taste a little darker. This one does taste a little brighter. But that's not bad. I think it's just depending on what mood you're in.
Yeah. If you're in the mood for more of these hunting videos, and this is hunting our way. We are not big on going into stores, chatting up employees we don't know, spending a bunch of time.
Well, and I probably won't ever be in those purchasing videos because I don't like to go to the stores.
Right. I'm the shopper of the family. But yeah, chatting up employees that we don't know, trying to get our hands on allocated bottles is not necessarily our thing. We're very opportunistic in that way, or at least I am. If it's on the shelf, I'll get it. Maybe I'll ask about it if there's something very specific that I'm looking for an employee, but I don't tend to go hound employees at liquor stores about allocated bottles unless it's my local store that I tend to frequent, in which case I'll give them a little grief about trying to get my hands on certain bottles, but it's just not our MO. And if I had to guess, a lot of you guys watching as well don't love going in and trying to chat up employees just to get hard to find bottles.
Stranger danger, y'all. That's a thing. We're adults, but it's still a thing.
And you have to be aware of your market as well. So here in Nashville, Tennessee, you're not going to get an allocated bottle unless you've got a vested connection, or you get it in a year-end raffle or lottery or something like that. Unless you're at somewhere like Total Wine that just happens to put stuff on the shelf. And even then, a lot of the high-profile bottles go in their year-end lottery. So you got to know where you're at, where you're shopping, what you could possibly get. But again, if you like these style of videos and our way of hunting, these kind of available bottle, regular person hunting, which is really just shopping. It's kind of a behind-the-scenes shopping video where you've got a budget and you've got an occasion or a type of bottle you're looking for, and you're going to go to store with that money and try to find the best thing that you can buy for that amount of money. That's what we would like to bring to the hunting space. So if you like that, like the video, think about subscribing to the channel, and be sure to leave a comment down below letting us know that you enjoyed this, because these videos are a lot of work And we would love to do more of them if you guys are enjoying them and finding value in them.
Yeah.
And some of the psychology behind.
If you don't find
purchasing.
value in them, let us know as well, because then we won't do them.
Hit that thumbs down if you don't like it. That's fine too.
No, don't. That makes me sad. I don't.
You don't even see the thumbs down.
I know, but I like
It gives them something to do. Let them live their life.
Okay, you do you.
Thumbs down it if you
It
don't,
might
if you
make me
don't
sad,
like it.
but you do you.
Okay. Also, while you're down there, check out the link to our Patreon in the video description below. That's where we release our barrel picks, talking about single barrel roulette and trusting the palates that you're buying single barrel picks from. We do quite a few single barrel picks every year. 12 plus is the goal. We're kind of sitting closer to 20 this year.
Oh my gosh.
But all of that
My brain just exploded a little bit.
all of that is over through Patreon. And if it makes it off, barrel picks make their way through the paid tiers, they will go to the free tier. So at least sign up for the free tier so you know when barrel picks are available from us.
Yep.
But if you want to get in one of the paid tiers, you get quicker access to the barrel picks before they sell out. And you can get involved for as little as $3 in our online community, which is the best dang group on planet Earth if you
Facts.
ask us.
Spitting facts.
Yeah. So check that out. And you can check out shirts like this one at stuffandwhiskey.com if you like it
Absolutely.
and you want to see some more of our merchandise and such. Glassware coming soon. All kinds of stuff.
Yep.
Check it out over there.
Yep, that's it for today, y'all. Be good to each other, and until next time, cheers.
Cheers.